We talk about Africa like it's a big cake that everyone wants to grab the biggest piece of before anyone else gets to it. Check this out, it's just a snippet. Well, this is a bit old. It happened on February 7, 2024 during the Defense Committee. And basically, it deals with French cooperation policy in Africa.
The Africas, because there's not just one Africa, and I see four of them.
Oh yeah, it's starting off well.
I see a first Africa, that's West Africa, the Sahel, the Africa of risks, and the Africa of strategic frictions with our competitors. That's the one from which France is being pushed out.
Right there, he's setting the stage, strategic friction with our competitors. Yeah, it's a competition over who gets the biggest slice of the cake. And France, deprived of dessert, doesn't want to accept it. At the same time, when it mainly serves French interests at the expense of Africa, is that normal?
There's a second Africa. I don't want to say it's Central Africa, it's the Africa of the center, and it's the Africa of Francophonie and strategic resources. We've just discovered incredible deposits of rare earths and rare minerals in Zimbabwe.
In Zimbabwe, he's shaking, he's drooling, as if it's already meant for him. No!
And the Chinese are already there, the Russians are making progress. I don't think French companies have ever looked into their involvement in Zimbabwe.
There are the Chinese, there are the Russians, and what are we waiting for? We need to take our share too. There's a lot to plunder, we need to fill our pockets. It's a race. See who can plunder the best, China, Russia, or France. They're being plundered, they're right there, and then they'll come and complain about immigration.
Then there's a third Africa, which is Southern Africa. I think it's the Africa of business.
The Africa of business? But he's drooling, he's really cut Africa like a big cake.
And then finally there is East Africa, and for me East Africa is the Africa of trade flows, between the Mozambique Channel, between the Red Sea, between these lines, and these are the priorities.
And to think that there are some who are there saying that Africa needs France more than the other way around. Africa is nothing at all, but they hold big meetings like that and they don't want to leave. But for what purpose? Just strategies to force and take their share even when they're no longer wanted over there.
What's happening in West Africa is a whole region. It's shifting and could become a lever for our competitors, especially Russia, to impose a societal model that's not ours. That's what's happening. It's not just about security.
You see, you can clearly feel the desire to maintain control over Africa. No one else should impose their model. It's France that leads. France has to control everything and keep its grip. Like all of this, it belongs to France. It reeks of neocolonialism, all of this. But for me, it doesn't really bother me. I'm just saying that all of this was filmed. It's public. YouTube. Thieves don't even hide. But that's the public and modeled version. What's going on in Africa? What's it like in the control? It's as if Africa belongs to them.